G'day again, wonderful listeners. This is episode 30 of Trev's Talk, and I'm your host, Trev. Last week, I was trying to point out how big companies can tell lies if it means they can make more profits. They use donations to gain government's favourable decisions. They employ people just to lobby and influence politicians into making decisions that get them more profits. They dangle the possibility of future high-paying employment within their companies to people in power. And big companies spend big on advertising to try and make themselves look beneficial and desirable to us, the common people. It is really very difficult to get honest advertising and truthful reporting in press outlets. Some press outlets sway public opinion by reporting only one side of a story instead of giving two sides of the story and letting the reader decide which side they agree with. So it is wonderful when a politician allows their ethics to override the views of their political party bosses when they can see the views of their bosses are not the best choice for us, the common people. If we see ethical politicians and honest journalists, we should praise them and take notice of what they say. The Bible says we can tell if someone or something is good by seeing if they produce good fruit. There are lots of times you can use the Bible saying to check the talk of a politician, corporate boss, or journalist. And because we are a democracy, you can speak out against any wrongful talk by those people or groups. That's why we must fight hard against the efforts of politicians, corporate bosses, or journalists to stop us, the common people, from conducting public protests. Channel 9 this morning was saying there were 100,000 peaceful protesters on the Sydney Harbour Bridge yesterday. People in power tried to stop the protest from happening, but a judge proclaimed it lawful and it went ahead. That protest speaks powerfully to the government on how the common people feel about the Palestinians being starved into submission in Gaza and the need for them to be given a state, just as the Jewish people were given Israel. Also, this example of public protest encourages people in other countries to stand up and protest too. Will that impressive protest on the Harbour Bridge bear good fruit? Will it stir our slow-moving government into some beneficial action? I have seen in the last few days where Prime Minister Albanese is starting to speak out more strongly on the horror taking place in Gaza. And it's about time he did so. He should also be looking at any ways he can pressure Israel into making peace. Going back to the gas industry's claim that Australia is running out of gas, which I spoke about in previous episode 29, I'm reminded of stuff I mentioned in episode 25. Beware of people pushing for confidentiality and non-disclosure agreements. They are desiring secrecy, which means they are wanting to hide something for some benefit to them. Sneaky stuff, dishonest stuff. Now let me tell you about the Minister of Environment and Water, Murray Watt, granting permission to Woodside to develop the Scott Reef gas field. He has granted permission if Woodside adopts some conditions, but Minister Watt has made those conditions secret from the public. Why? This immediately makes me think of confidential and non-disclosure agreements and their secrecy. I suspect something fishy is taking place. If not fishy, why not tell the public just what conditions are being imposed? Secret conditions are not democratic. The Scott Reef gas field does not need to be developed at all for the people of Australia. West Australia is not getting all the 15% of gas earmarked for WA. WA is only getting 8% of the LNG allocated for it under the Dom Gas Alliance. The government should be demanding the 15%, and that would lower prices as well. Why is the government, state and federal, not enforcing the Dom Gas Alliance instead of allowing a Scott Reef development to mightily pollute for 50 years? This sort of muddied plot needs bringing out into the open and being properly investigated. That's why we need people like Senators Payman and Pocock, organisations like the Australia Institute, and media like The Guardian. These people or entities are speaking out and trying to improve government for us, the common people. We need people and entities like them to make a better world. I reported last episode that I was able to speak with Senator Payman and ask her for an intro to Sheikh Mohammed Ajurdian, but was unsure whether she was in a position where she could arrange such an intro. So, 4 days ago, I sent an email to her office address and gently reminded her of my request and suggested she might email me a letter of introduction as an attachment which I could use to get a meeting with the Sheikh. I know Senator Payman is back in Parliament now and extremely busy, so I may have to wait for quite some time to hear from her. If I seem to be waiting too long, I think I will try to get a meeting with the Muslim lady Medina, who is treasurer at the local mosque. I've had a special dream of being in a mosque restaurant, sitting at a table with someone and waiting for a leading imam to come and meet with me. So I'm interested in making that dream come true. I am reminded that I have been given GBs, what I call goosebumps, over several of the people I am currently interested in. I had GBs over Senator Payman and suicide prevention professional Megan Cracker while talking about them with my stepdaughter a few weeks ago. Also, as previously reported, I've had GBs over Medina while talking to her about Medjugorje a few weeks ago, again while my stepdaughter was present. The GBs received over people immediately make them people of interest, but I never know how far in the future they will become important, so I just try to meet with them and bring them into whatever project I am working on at the time. As I've told you before, I work a lot by trial and error. Trying to get a meeting with Sheikh Mohammed through Senator Payman may not work, and swapping to Medina for that purpose may be the way to go, trial and error. I work by opportunity as well. Just a few minutes ago, I had a pop-up from Facebook telling me it was retired politician Ken Wyatt's birthday. Up to now, I had no idea of how I could contact Ken. Ken has knowledge and wisdom which could be of great help to me. Because I'm seriously spiritual, I wonder, does the spiritual world want me to take notice of Ken? And so arranged his Facebook pop-up right when I can't miss it? I did take notice and sent him a birthday post with a short message about my scholarship project for Aboriginal kids and asked him to contact me through my email address, which I included on the posting. Now, Ken may not answer my Facebook posted plea for him to make contact. If he does contact, I will try to include him on the scholarship project. If he doesn't contact, I will try to find other ways to contact him to involve him if possible. I would like him to become a co-patron, together with Muslim and Jewish co-patrons. Once again, I am telling you about my plans before I get them in place, so you will see if I am successful or not. This idea with Ken is a good idea for the project, but will it eventuate? Also, by being open and transparent on my podcast, I establish the fact that the Moodage Scholarship Fund project is entirely my idea, and if it comes to fruition, the Medjugorje Centre will get the praise. It will be very difficult for any of the other parties involved on the project to claim the praise. This scholarship project has great potential. Not only can it be done here, it could also be done in other states. I'm not trying to overstate things, but this project could also be done in other countries where there are Indigenous peoples. Well, that's it again for another week, wonderful listeners. Please like and subscribe if you've not done so already, and think about a comment, please, as that makes the podcast more of a community thing. This is Trev, tuning out for another week.